Welcome everyone to Fresh Lava Productions. This is another general tarot reading. This one is for the zodiac sign of Cancer. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I love me some Cancerians. Fine people, salt of the earth. Honorable mention to some very special Cancerians in my life. My sister Laura, love you babe. My cousin Bubba, love you Bubba. And my very good friend Jason, love you brother. Yeah, and so we're gonna get crack-a-lackin' here and see what the cards have to say for you. For the longest time I've been meaning to shorten these videos, kind of streamline them, not talk quite so much. I tend to get carried away. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm sure you're aware. So I want to shorten the videos and be able to do more of them. Ultimately, I'd like to do one a day if I could get them down to around 10 to 15 minutes, but you know, I'm fairly long-winded most of the time, so that proves to be a little bit of a challenge. But you know, life is all about growth and change and development, and we're going to see what we can do to get better here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I do personal readings as well as these general readings. If you'd like to donate to the channel, there are links to my PayPal and Cash App in the description box below. If you'd like a personal reading, leave a comment in the comment section. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to these videos. I really appreciate the support. And another very special shout out to a Facebook group that I'm in, NACP3. You guys are awesome. And let's see what we got for you here. All right. If you're not familiar with my particular layout, I designed it myself because I don't like to do what everybody else does. Everybody and their brother does the Celtic cross, however you pronounce it. And I don't like doing that. I try not to say the same things that other readers say. I like to do all my own thing. So this is called the pyramid layout that I designed. It's a layered kind of thing, not just because I use 4 different decks, but also because it's not just a pyramid, it's also an arrow that shows the direction in which you're going, the foundation upon which you're standing, what's on your heart, what's on your mind, and then not to disparage other readers, but there's a lot of clickbait out there. There's a lot of readers whose readings are always pretty much the same. Because they want you to come back. I mean, it's easy to prey upon heartbroken people, you know, by telling them things like, you know, their partner is coming back to them and, you know, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But I don't like to sugarcoat things. I send the messages through that are coming through. And because of that, I designed this layout with a capstone from the Archangel Raphael Healing Oracle deck, so that no matter what messages come through that might not, you know, be the most pleasant for you to hear, although sometimes that's what you need to hear, we always end things on a positive note here. And Raphael is better than anybody else at doing that kind of thing. So that's why I use his Oracle deck for the capstone. All right, Cancerians, you know, Cancerians, wrong deck. What I know about the ones that I'm close to, just as emotional as anybody else, but in a lot of cases, are not as much of, their emotions aren't as obvious. They're not as outwardly emotional as like fire signs would be, for example. You know, Leos in particular, Arians, Sagittarians, you know, we wear our hearts on our sleeves. Cancerians, in a lot of cases, you're not likely to know how emotional they are unless you're close to them. You know, they're deeply emotional, but they're selective about who they share their true feelings with, which, you know, in its own way is an admirable quality. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and reveal your pyramid. Got the Dreamer, the Two of Air, the King of Water, and the Six of Fire. Got the Seven of Swords, the Ten of Swords, good Lord, and the Nine of Swords in reverse. That's interesting. Got the Magician, the Five of Wands in reverse, and the Prince of Cups. So we'll start with your foundation. The Dreamer, that's Archangel Metatron, or the Voice of God. It's also the full card in traditional tarot decks. A Leap of Faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities. The Two of Air, being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending that there is no problem. The King of Water, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, cultured, open your heart and mind to those around you, trustworthy and heartfelt advice, charity work, and the Six of Fire. Victory, good news is on its way, public recognition or awards. So that's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, kind of call out all the cards, and then we'll see how they link together. You've got, like I said, the Seven of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and the Nine of Swords in reverse. And those are your heart stones, which are all sword. It's all air energy. So in your heart is all intellect, mind, thoughts, and words, which is pretty fascinating, actually. Your Mind Stones, the Magician, one of my favorite cards. The Five of Wands in reverse. And the Prince of Cups. Some of you Cancerians, the Prince of Cups might actually be you. But we'll go back down to the bottom here. Leap of Faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities. Always be on the lookout for unexpected opportunities. If you let your heart guide you and try not to think quite so much, stay out of your headspace, unless of course your head is working in tandem with your heart and you're well balanced. That's great. Being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate. We'll get back to that. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Like I was saying earlier on, in my experience, Cancerians are less likely to be outwardly emotional and share their emotions unless they're pretty close to somebody. But this card in particular is saying that you don't have to be quite so guarded and quite so reserved. You know, sometimes it's okay. Not that you have to go boo-hooing all over the place, but sometimes it's okay to kind of let it out a little bit, just to take some pressure off of the top of the valve. Six of Fire, victory, good news is on its way, public recognition. That's outstanding. All the Cancerians that I know are incredibly hardworking individuals. Amongst the hardest working people that I've known in my life, with the exception of a few. But the three Cancerians that I mentioned earlier are some of the hardest working people that I've ever met before. So we may come back to your foundation. I want to move up to your heart stones. Are so fascinating the way that they're laid out. Seven of Swords, it's like, you know, there's a lot on your mind and it's affecting your heart greatly. And what I'm definitely feeling is, if you're not comfortable letting your emotions out to the people that you're normally around. Find somebody, reconnect with somebody, or get in touch with somebody that you are comfortable sharing that with, and let some of that stuff out. It's like over time, you can only put so much water into a vessel, and then it starts to overflow. So if you don't let some of that out in a healthy way, it may come out in not such a healthy way. And that's when feelings get hurt. And as loving as Cancerians are, I know you don't want to hurt anybody. The Ten of Swords is the center heartstone. Some of you are suffering greatly. And I suspect it's because there is too much on your heart right now. The Ten of Swords is one of my least favorite cards in the tarot deck. You could look at it in several ways, but more often than not, it's a being of some kind that has literally 10 swords sticking through it into the ground. It represents pretty much the world or this life or the universe has just been beating you down. That's what's on, that's what's in the center of your heart. Now, the good news, you've got the Nine of Swords in reverse, which is just over the open your heart and the victory good news that's on its way. See, this pyramid also has several smaller pyramids within it. The Nine of Swords upright is not so much different from the Ten of Swords. It represents worry. It represents the ending or the completion of a way of thinking about a certain thing or a certain person or relationship, what have you. But this is in reverse, and what that's telling me is you're not quite there yet to where your thoughts are going to change and they're actually going to stop affecting your heart, but you're almost there. And that's right above the messages that I'm getting, is that if you find an outlet for all of these, you have so many thoughts that are on your heart and causing it to be weighed down right now. When you let that go, not all of it, but some of it, relieve the pressure. When you let some of that go, everything is going to change for you. You're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to sleep better. Pointing upwards, for some of you, that has everything to do with a person in your life. The Prince of Cups, water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, doesn't have to be. Court cards represent people in your life typically. The princes and the princesses are going to be younger people than you or children. So for a lot of you, your worry on your heart is about somebody that you care very deeply for. Fortunately, this is all looking like everything is headed in a very positive direction. Your center mind stone is the Five of Wands in reverse. The Five of Wands, the number 5 representing challenge, change, conflict, and Wands is fire. It's fire, it's creativity, it's passion. But this being in reverse in the center of your mind is actually great, because what that's telling me is that you're heading in a direction where you're free of conflict. Some of you, this is specifically talking about, you're having a conflict with a person. This could be a younger sibling. This could be a younger romantic partner that you have. This could be a child that you've been struggling to, guide in the direction in which you'd like to see them go. On the other side is the Magician. So the Magician basically has all the tools that they need mentally. Through meditation, they can get answers through quieting the mind, but they have a mystical, magical power, aura, energy about them that if they focus on something long enough and hard enough, they can steer things in the direction in which they want them to go. Everybody should always remember, you create your own conscious reality. And so overall, while your heart is being weighed down greatly by your thoughts, the message here is to relieve some of that pressure. Try not to think about those things that are hurting your heart so much, and realize that you are the great influencer in your life and the people that are around you. you have the power and you have the will to relieve not only your own heart-related stress, emotional stress, but also by doing that, some of you don't realize the effect that you have on others around you from an emotional standpoint. If you're down, they feel that, whether they know it or not. And so if you take care of yourself and make yourself feel better and lighten your load, so to speak, it's only going to have a positive effect on you and everybody that you love. So keep that in mind. That's what I got for you, Cancerians. And let's see. Your capstone prayer works. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, thank you for hearing and answering my prayer. The prayers of those closest to me. Add the details of your prayer here. We'll read from the book. Okay. Let me see. Prayer works. Archangel Raphael sends this card to inspire you to increase your prayers surrounding your health question. And always remember, thoughts are prayers. You don't have to pray in a specific way. When you think something, there is a higher being than yourself, whatever you choose to call that being, that hears your prayers. So always be careful about what you think as well. This may mean putting requests into prayer groups, such as those associated with churches or temples. It also calls for you to pray more personally and ask your spiritually minded loved ones to join you. Hundreds of well-documented and carefully designed studies have supported the healing power of prayer and have ruled out the placebo effect. There's evidence that the more people who pray for a cause, the better the result. Regardless of the type of denomination of the prayer, Raphael joins you in praying for the best possible outcome as well as peace for everyone involved. And remember, the answer to your prayer is usually better and different from what you may expect. Pray about every aspect of the situation. Instead of worrying, pray. Talk honestly with God and the angels about your fears, desires, and feelings. Ask for help and then accept assistance when it's offered. Start a prayer or support group for the issue at hand, or reach out to somebody that you feel has a wealth of knowledge about your particular situation and ask them to keep you in mind. Overall, Cancerians, despite the worry weight, that's pulling your heart down, this is a really fantastic energetic reading. The leap of faith, follow your dreams, open your heart and mind. This card, the Two of Air, being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there is no problem. I have a feeling that is directly related to, it's like this. If your heart is hurting, you know your heart is hurting. The only way really to get through that is to confront the issue, whether it's with somebody else or within yourself. More than likely it's talking about what's within yourself. Confront it within yourself. If you ignore it and go along as if nothing's wrong, it's just going to get worse. But if you stand there and face it, that's the way you can get through it and move on to the next chapter. So, Cancerians, that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.